Hello, I wanted to do a quick video today talking a little bit about some of the things I wish that I knew when I was a new mom. So I'm just gonna jump right in. I am a mom of one who's currently 17 months old, and I am pregnant. I don't know if you can see, with my second child, about 8 months pregnant now. So today I was thinking to myself about some of the things that I wish that I knew when I was a new mother, and I made a list of them, and I'm gonna share them with you today. Hopefully it will help you gain more confidence in your motherhood journey, so that you don't feel pressure to be perfect as a new mom. So I made a list. I'm just gonna jump right in. So the first thing is that I wish I knew that breastfeeding would not be easy. When you read books about breastfeeding and you watch other people breastfeed and they tell you how beautiful and wonderful and just loving and bonding it is, you just feel like, oh wow, it's just gonna happen. Once that baby is placed in my arms after they're born, I'm just gonna know what to do and they're gonna latch and everything will be perfect. I thought the same thing too. And in the hospital, my baby latched perfectly. When we got home though, things started to change. I noticed that what the lactation consultant told me at the hospital to do just wasn't working when I got home. My nipples started to become sore and cracked, and at some point I was bleeding. I couldn't even pump. I was like, maybe if I can't breastfeed, then I can pump and just feed the baby with a bottle. But that didn't work. Once your nipple is sore, it is sore. You have to wait for it to heal. And so I was struggling so much, feeding my baby formula while waiting for my nipples to heal up. It was just a very stressful time for me. It started to really feed into my postpartum depression, which I had. I'm going to talk about in a different video. And I started feeling like I wasn't good enough, like I wasn't a good mother. And somehow this thing that was supposed to be natural and easy was hard for me. Then I must be a failure. Why can't I do it when other women are doing it? It was just not a good time. And I wish that someone had told me in my pregnancy journey, like, breastfeeding is not easy. It's gonna be hard. It's a learning process, the learning curve. Not everybody's gonna get it in the very beginning. You're going to suffer a little bit, and then eventually it will get better if you really stick to it and watch a bunch of YouTube videos, practice. It takes time and you will get used to it. I also wish that someone had told me that it was okay to stop if you really just do not love it. It's okay to stop. I just always saw people loving their breastfeeding journey, like people who breastfed their kids till they were like 2 years old, some people 3. And I thought, oh wow, it must be some easy thing, and you're not supposed to stop. It's so great for the child, and if you stop, then you're depriving them of some importance, I don't know what, that you could have given them through breastfeeding. The truth is that you can breastfeed if you really love it. But if you don't, and you are suffering, and your nipples are sore and things are just not working out for you, it's okay to stop. I tortured myself. I really did. I can't tell you how much I wish I could go back and tell my old new mom self, like, you are torturing yourself. You need to stop. And it's okay. It doesn't make you a bad mom. First off, holding a baby like this all the time, like newborns, they feed every 2 to 3 hours, and my kid didn't even last 2 hours, like sometimes an hour and a half, and he was ready. Sometimes he would just stay on the breast the whole time for hours and hours. Like, they call that cluster feeding. And just keeping this position was torture for my shoulders. I ended up with something called the mother's shoulders, where like this parts of my shoulder up to my neck was just like tightened, and like my muscles just contracted and refused to relax, and it was so painful. And I would get headaches every day, because when your shoulders and your neck muscles are tightened, it pulls on the muscles of your skull. So I would get the headache in the back of my head that transferred all the way to the around surrounding area of my head, and just like torture. Every day I woke up with headaches, and I'm not even I'm not making it up. Every day, headache, non-stop. Can you imagine shoulder pain? And I would still feed my baby, and I would tell myself, this is what is right to do. My baby needs this, and I'm gonna do it until he's like at least a year old. You know what? I give myself props for trying. I breastfed until he was 11 months, but at that point I was done. I don't even know how I made it that far, to be honest. If I could go back, I wouldn't do it again. It was torture. And when I saw mothers who bottle fed their babies and used formula, I would get so jealous. Like, I just wish I could stop. But my case is unique because my child loved breastfeeding so much that he actually rejected bottles. So he got so used to the breast, he refused to latch on a bottle. I tried every single bottle, every single brand. I tried everything. And he just refused, which made it worse for my postpartum depression because I felt like a prisoner, you know, like I had to be around this kid every 2 hours. Like I can only go out of the house for 2 hours at a time, and I had to rush back home before he would feed again. So you can imagine what that would do to you as a new mother, feeling this pressure, like someone is tying you down when you're already depressed and you feel like you're not good enough, you're not doing your best as a mom. It just makes it worse. So anyway, my kid refused the bottle, and so I just had to force myself to keep breastfeeding until he was comfortable enough with eating solids at 6 months old to be able to wean him off slowly until he was not feeding from the breast anymore. But anyway, I'm rambling a lot, I'm sorry, but I'm very passionate about this because nobody told me. I wish that someone did say to me, like, it's okay, Ari, to stop breastfeeding when you feel the pressure and it's just too much to handle. Your child would not love you less. I want to repeat that. Your child will not love you less if you do not feed them from the breast. Formula is okay too, and it works just fine. The next thing that I wish that someone told me, I'm gonna just look at my notes real quick, is that you have to expect to not sleep again. Even when you fall asleep, it's like you're sleeping with one eye open. You worry about your kid, you check the baby monitor, you just want to make sure they're okay. So even now, my kid is 17 months and I still wake up in the middle of the night to check the baby monitor just to make sure he's good. You know, you would just, I won't say you won't sleep again. It's like your sleeping patterns will be different and the amount of sleep you get will be less. You will get used to it though. Drink lots of coffee, find new patterns, find new routines that help you sneak in naps here and there, and then just get used to it. Someday they'll be 18 years old and out of the house and you get your life back. Another thing that I wish someone told me as a new mom is that this is a big one. It is okay to ask for help. Sometimes we as humans, we want to feel like we can do it all. Especially as a new mother, you have this new life in your arms, you know how big a responsibility it is, and you're like, I want to do it all. I want to make sure I give every single part of myself, everything that I can give to this baby. That's great. That's really great. But you can't do it all. There's a reason that Proverbs, that parable, I don't know what you call it, the quotes exist. It takes a village to raise a child. When I was trying to do it all, like feed the baby by myself, clean the house, cook, give bath time, bedtime routine, you name it, I was trying to do it all because I wanted to practice, I wanted to hone my skills. I ended up getting burnt out. And then what I faced was resentment towards my partner and everybody around me because I was just feeling overwhelmed, like I was doing it all. Well, that was my fault in a way though, because when people see that you got it under control, then they have no reason to help you. If you don't give them a chance to like be there for you, then they're not gonna help you. Which leads me to my next point. It is okay to ask for help. You can't do it all. If you feel overwhelmed by a particular task, outsource. If your baby is, when your baby is born and you feel like the house is falling apart, you can't clean it anymore, you're not cooking as much or cooking healthy meals like you used to, outsource. Pay someone to clean your house for you. Get a Roomba vacuum if you have to. Do what you can. If someone asks, oh, do you need any help? Say yes. Please help me vacuum. I'll really appreciate it. Help me clean my kitchen. I'll really appreciate it. And my bathroom is falling apart. If you can help me with that, I'll really appreciate it. Just ask for help in the little parts of your life that are falling by the wayside, and you will be surprised how many people will be willing to help out if you ask. You don't ask, they think you have it under control, and that's human nature. My next baby, I'm definitely going to be asking for a lot of help. If I have to, I will order food every day until I'm comfortable enough to cook again. If I have to, I will hire a cleaning lady to come to my house maybe once or twice a week and do the cleaning for me. You do what you can and you leave the rest. The next point, let your husband, boyfriend, spouse, whoever, your partner help you. I'm gonna say it again. Let your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your partner, whoever is with you, let them help. Sometimes as moms, once again, we feel the need to do it all. It's just like women, I'm sorry, my baby just made noise. You can hear him in the baby monitor. Let me turn it down. I think he just woke up. That's me, always doing something with one eye open, making sure the baby's okay. Anyway, back to this. Let your spouse help you. It is so easy for us to take on too many challenges and too many responsibilities because we feel like we have to do it all. We have to master this mommy life and make sure that our motherhood skill is on point, which is great. But what about the dad? What about the partner you had when you had this baby? They need a chance to learn too. Well, one thing I realized when I had my first child was that I was so focused on learning how to parent and do all the things that you're supposed to do for a baby, change them, feed them, play with them, read the books, do bedtime routines, and learn a bunch of things about babies that I had the chance to do that because I was a stay-at-home mom. But my partner who worked outside the home didn't get a lot of practice, didn't get a lot of opportunities to practice. And when he would come home, I would just on autopilot, just keep doing, that I forgot to breathe and say, you know what, he's here now. He can do this, and that for me. I don't have to do it all. And he wanted to help. The problem is that I was doing it all, so he felt like I had it under control. So he didn't get the opportunity to step in and help. I'm also a perfectionist. I like to do things my way. And one thing I had to learn was that it's okay if he did it a different way. Let's say he had a different bedtime routine than me. That used to bother me a lot. And he does have a different bedtime routine. He sings different songs. He reads a different book. He rocks the baby a different way. He puts the baby down a different way than I did. I learned to not be bothered by those things because they're really trivial. The thing that matters most is that you guys come to the same outcome. If you're doing bedtime, the outcome is that the child lays down and he falls asleep and peacefully stays asleep. That's the outcome. As long as we get there, we arrive at the same conclusion. We're a team and we have to work together. So please let your partners help you. Okay, don't do it by yourself, and don't feel like, oh, if they're doing it and they're making a mistake, don't point it out like, oh, you're not doing it right. Let me do it. I don't like the way you're doing this right now. You're going to mess up my routine. You're going to mess up my schedule. Let me just do it myself. It's better when I do things myself anyway. You're going to ruin your self-confidence. And when people don't have confidence in themselves, they're not going to be willing to try next time. So even if your partner is not doing it correctly, praise them anyway and say, thank you for helping, I appreciate this, maybe we can try this and that way next time, see if the outcome is better. Or just let them do it. As long as you get the same outcome, that's all that matters. Another thing, I don't want to make this video too long, but I have a lot to say. Your house does not have to be perfect. Your house doesn't have to look like it came from a magazine. When I had my child, I was still struggling to maintain a clean house, maintain a clean kitchen, clean bathroom, clean everything, and taking care of a brand new human life, which I was learning all of the things that they needed, and it was overwhelming. You know what happened? I lost myself. I forgot to take care of myself in all of those processes, which fueled my postpartum depression. I didn't understand why I was feeling the way I was feeling. I poured my entire self into taking care of this child, into taking care of the household, because I was now a stay-at-home mom, and I did way too much to the point I just lost it. And I don't want that to happen to you. That's a big thing for me. Now, when I wake up in the morning, I try to straighten my home and do my best. I know with a toddler, the house will never stay clean. When you look at other people's YouTube videos and you see their perfect house, and you look at Instagram and you see their perfect home, nobody will ever show you their struggles. They will only show you the positive, good parts of their life. They will only show you the 10 minutes that their house is clean during that day. They don't show you the rest of the time. The truth is, it's hard to maintain a clean house with young children, especially newborns. And that is okay. The people in your life that understand what it's like to raise a child, they will understand why your house is not perfectly magazine covered looking. And that's okay. Just focus on the things that matter most. Taking care of your child, taking care of yourself, and doing the best you can. Once you've done the best you can, let it go. The second to last point is that postpartum depression can happen to anyone. And you have to really, really pay attention to the signs. There are a lot of signs out there that I missed. I remember just feeling so down and feeling like I just was not good enough. Like somehow everybody else could take care of my kid better than I could. And I started to believe that. When my child would cry and I couldn't console them, my husband did a better job than me. Visitors and friends, families, they did a better job than me. And I was like, why did God give me this child? I clearly am not very good at taking care of it. Everybody else is doing a better job, so I don't know why I'm even here. I sunk into a depression. I would cry, and then when I couldn't breastfeed properly, that made it worse. And then when I finally started breastfeeding properly and I couldn't leave the house because my kid loved breastfeeding so much, that made it worse. I couldn't sleep at night. I was worried all the time about him. I would wake up in the middle of the night and just stare at the baby monitor to make sure he was breathing. I would check on him 1,000,000 times a day. I was all over the place and I was depressed. And when I finally realized it, that was when I could do something about it. I went to therapy and I told the therapist my symptoms. I went to this support group. It's called Postpartum Support International, where women who also suffer from depression and postpartum anxiety and all the other stuff, came together to share their stories and support one another. And going to therapy and that group really helped bring me out of my depression. I started to appreciate the gifts that I had to offer. I noticed the things that I lacked and the things that I didn't do very well. And I learned to ask for help with those things. And the things that I was good at doing, I did more of it to make me feel good. I focused on taking care of myself, my health, taking time for self-care, finding a hobby outside of being a mom and a wife and a stay-at-home mom, and just focusing on myself more. And by doing so, I had space in my life to love my child more and to take care of him more, because I was not obsessing so much, and I was not like grading myself in my head, like today I'm an A mom, tomorrow I'm a B mom, and so forth. I just let each day be what they were. I stopped putting so much pressure on myself, and that really helped. But just know that postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, postpartum psychosis, all of the postpartum illnesses can happen to you too. It can happen to anyone. So please pay attention to the signs. The last thing I want to talk about is, don't feel the pressure to have visitors come to your home after your baby is born. And I'll tell you why. I made the mistake of inviting people over when my kid was like a few days old, a few months old, about 2 or 3 months old. Basically the newborn stage, people were in and out of my house all the time. And I felt like I needed to show everyone the new baby. While that's good to show people the new baby, the truth is, after having a child, you are exhausted all the time. You're trying to find a new sleep routine that works with your brain so you're not like dead all the time. You're trying to find your way as a new parent. You're trying to find your way as a wife with a child, and still try to navigate your marriage and keep things afloat and maintain happiness there. There's so many things you're navigating all at the same time. Why would you add the stress of inviting visitors into your home too? Like, then you have to worry about taking care of them, entertaining them, I don't know, cleaning the house, making it perfect, all of these things that you really don't need. It's like added stress. If you're the kind of person that loves visitors, go ahead and invite people over. But I am not that kind of person. I like my space. And when I was inviting people over, there was so much pressure to like entertain them. It drove me crazy at the end of the day. I would be so exhausted, and all I wanted to do was sleep. And then my doorbell would ring, and someone would be coming and stay for hours playing with the baby. I'm like, God, please go home. So this time around, my second baby, I'm not gonna have anyone over for the first 3 months. Just stay in your house, leave me alone. And when I'm comfortable and I've set up a routine that works for me, then I'll invite people over. My child is not gonna like disappear just because you didn't see them in the newborn phase, okay? They're still gonna be cute, so you can wait. Oh, I forgot one more thing. I'm sorry. After this, then I'll be done, I promise. One more thing. It's okay to ask for your baby back. I know that sounds crazy, but let me explain. When your child is born, like, of course they're cute and everybody wants to hold them. This happened to me too, and I feel like it also added to my depression. Because when a mother is not allowed or given enough opportunity to bond with their child and to hold them close, it's really hard for them to form that connection. And if you're a person who's prone to depression already, it's just gonna fuel that, because you're not given enough chance to bond and to be close to your child. I found that people were helping me to carry my baby so much that in a matter of in a 24-hour day, maybe I would hold my child for maybe like 4 hours of those 24-hour days. Like, there was always someone in my house, someone helping me to carry the baby. Oh, the baby's crying. Oh, let me carry him for you. Let me soothe him for you. Oh, the baby needs to eat. Oh, let me feed the baby for you. The baby needs a bath. Let me bathe the baby for you. Like, they were doing everything for me, and they didn't give me a chance to do things by myself. Like, I didn't have a chance to bond with the baby. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't ask for help when you need it, but the key thing there is for you to ask. If you don't ask for people's help and they're just jumping in and taking over, you need to stop that, because if you don't, then you're not going to have enough opportunity to bond with your child. So it's okay if your baby is crying and someone is holding your child and you're feeling the pang, like you just want your baby back, but you don't want to be rude and say, just give me my kid already. It's okay. You can actually say that. Say, I would like my baby back, please. I was so nervous when I had my first child, because I didn't want to be rude or disrespectful to anyone, so I hesitated to ask for my kid back all the time. But I'm not gonna do that this time, because your baby needs you, the mom. Your baby needs the dad. It doesn't need the visitor. It doesn't need a friend. It doesn't need the family member. It needs you. So it's okay to ask for your child back when they're crying, when they need to be fed, when they need to be held, anything. If you want to hold your baby, just ask. Don't let anyone make you feel like, they have to help you unless you want their help.